Yes, I've been thinking a little bit more
Yeah?
between sods here.
I think sometimes.
Yeah,
Not always.
I try not to make a habit of
Yeah.
it. It's dangerous. But I gotta wonder if Mamiya. I think I broached this last time, but the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that Mamiya is some actor trying to break these characters out of this cycle. Either that, or or possibly Natsume's real job is actually to try and find a happy ending for these folks. I don't know if I brought it up last time, and I know we talked about it at least in between the sode. But I feel like dangling so much power in front of someone and saying, but don't use it for that, and then suddenly giving them different context as soon as they start trying to mess with things, screams to me like maybe the one in charge really wants to have happy endings but can't do it because they have to remain impartial. So as long as they can set some things up in a certain way to try to give people a chance for stuff to work out. And maybe Mamiya is a figure who's like, this is bullshit. No matter what happens here, no matter what happens in these stories, you're gonna, one of you's gonna wind up meeting a bad fate. The only way is to take your place in the Trichiliocosm and fix it yourself. I don't know, just taking shots in the dark here. Anyway. Yeah, like, that is Samejima, so...
Sure is.
Do you want to be Arasugawa?
Sure. I can only think of the mystery author.
Really?
Isn't Alice Arisugawa a mystery author? I feel like I read one.
Hold on, we're both looking stuff up. We've barely even gotten in the sode here, and we're already looking stuff up. Need to close the tab I have open for the Wikipedia article on ox.
On what?
Oxen.
Why?
I didn't realize what the definition of oxen was. I didn't realize that oxen weren't a separate bovine species, but like something that any bovine could become by how they were used.
What?
Right?
What?
It fucking changed everything. Yeah, anyway, yeah, you're right. That is Alice Arasugawa is a Japanese writer.
Oh, yes. The one I read was the Moai Island puzzle.
Yeah. I need to, as soon as I'm like in a good place, I want to read some more of because you've been loading up on mysteries and stuff, but
yeah,
I haven't really had an opportunity because I'm making my own shit and it takes time and effort. Read your stuff.
I'll think about it.
We've now told people about mystery writers and oxen, neither of which are relevant to this game.
Unless...
Holy cow.
Excuse me, one coffee, please.
And another one from me. How about you two? I probably gave him that voice, right? I don't rightfully remember, but it's looking at him, that's probably that one.
Sounds likely.
Do we know who's narrating here? This is just Natsume reading, right? Do you want me to narrate?
I can narrate for the moment. I'm not sure. I don't know if it is, but like we'll figure out. The tall man looked questioningly at the two people in school uniforms who ended up requesting the same order as him. The waitress took their orders and walked away, once again leaving the four people to their awkward silence. They were drenched in rain. The warmth inside the cafe had dried them up a bit, but they could still easily catch a cold. None of them seemed to care, though. They had something far more important to worry about than the cold. The girl who had been trembling finally broke down in tears.
Mamiya.
No one said a thing. Not even a word of consolation. They simply felt the weight of the silence pressing down on them, almost as if they themselves were crying.
Here's your order, dear. 4 coffees.
The silence was broken when the cold-eyed waitress returned with their drinks. Regaining some of their composure, the four watched as hot steam billowed up from the coffee. Some began drinking right away, while others suffered in silence as they remembered him.
This is so... like, what do we make of this Mamiya figure that is... even assigning a pronoun is added with air quotes. You know what I mean? Like, what are we to make of this? What would you say to some reminiscing?
The suggestion came from the tallest man. Am I Toma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or would you like me to be Toma?
What kind of voice should Toma have?
Do you want me to be Toma?
I don't know.
What voice could Toma have? What? Reminiscing about what?
All right.
What else? MAMIYA, of course.
The very air seemed to freeze around them. It felt as though the coffee would go cold in a matter of seconds.
So how about it? I think it would help us process things and get our feelings in order. This is how I grieve, in a very calm and structured manner. And if it goes outside of that, I will stop being in control of myself.
His silent tone made him seem emotionally unfazed, which only served to amplify the anxiety of the other three. In fact, not even he knew why he had said something like that. He didn't actually want these strangers to know about the memories he had shared with MAMIYA. However, he did want them to know how MAMIYA was reflected in their eyes. This conflict was shared by all four of them.
So they don't necessarily know each other well enough to give up what they know, but they also were affected enough by MAMIYA's passing that they really want some more of what they were to latch onto, even if it's secondhand.
Apparently.
Oh.
You start then. You're the one who suggested it, so it's only fair.
Very well. I'll tell you about the MAMIYA that I knew.
Honestly, I couldn't... Oh.
This is probably...
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I couldn't remember when I met him. He was always by my side as an invaluable part of my everyday life. I keep saying him and he, but if I'm honest, even now I don't actually know his gender. Do any of you know if he's a man or a woman? Or anything else? Was this asexuality just a product of his youth? Many say that when boys are most juvenile, they're closer to girls than ever. MAMIYA seemed to be this idea made manifest. Alright. He had the smile of an omnipotent god, an ill fit for his otherwise small frame. There was no need for sex there. It was like a privilege of something holy. That was what I had on my mind, by day, at least. Hold on. Yes?
The three were listening to him with puzzled expressions, but the one to finally break the silence was the beautiful girl.
Well, I wouldn't say he didn't have anything androgynous about him. MAMIYA was so obviously a man. Oh, really? I couldn't tell at all. I don't see gender. Huh? What? I can't believe you. You could tell at first glance. MAMIYA was easily taller than Glasses over here, and he had an Adam's apple.
With the girl suddenly pointing at him, the spectacled man was surprised for a moment, then furrowed his brow even more. The tall man parted his lips slightly and waited for the girl to speak.
MAMIYA, he taught at my school. He was a high school science teacher. He had trimmed hair, and he always wore a lab coat and a turtleneck. He seemed fairly popular among female students and was well liked by the guys, too. He was probably very good at teaching. He used to smile all the time, almost sadistically so. His hands were large and bony. I mean, I hate men, but his hands were special.
Normal sentences.
Don't get me wrong, all men are scum, but those hands? Oh, they were crafted by God himself.
Preternaturally bony.
MAMIYA had always been sensitive to the nuances in other people's hearts. He also knew exactly what was going on in mine. He never told me where he lives, or how old he is, or if he's married. But that school was a dreadful, suffocating place. And MAMIYA was the only one I could unconditionally trust.
That ain't right. The next one to talk was the spectacled man. He was the only one who'd emptied his coffee cup.
Why would you? Yeah, see, I'm like, even if you're grieving, don't turn down free coffee.
Not caring one bit for the girl's scornful gaze, he was the very picture of audacity. You don't have much luck with men, do you?
What? Excuse me?
Listen here, Mamiya is a woman. If you can mistake that for a dude, you must have some messed up standards for men.
Well, hold on. I've got several problems with that, but move.
And you there, Mamiya's no child, she's clearly an adult.
Oh, really? And what makes you think that? So Mamiya really does just kind of take on the form of whatever is missing that void in their lives, that kind of thing they desire, that kind of person or connection they desire most.
Seems like it. Mamiya is the only woman I've genuinely loved. I doubt anyone else will have such a huge impact on me, not in this life, that's for sure. Well, she did have a somewhat masculine way of speaking, I'll give you that, but that's hardly justification enough for outright declaring her to be a guy. There was this unique aura about her, like she knew exactly what she wanted and wouldn't allow anyone to interfere. She was intelligent, insightful, and independent to boot. She usually wore a racing jacket on her shoulders and enjoyed the kind of tobacco only oddballs would appreciate. I inhaled that smoke more times than I can count. It was more than enough for a man to fall in love.
So you're just gonna keep quiet like that, huh?
I'm guessing the Mamiya you knew is different from ours. Hey, you listening to us?
Oh, sorry. I was spacing out.
The bags under his eyes made it clear that he had led an exhausting life.
Bach keeps playing in my head, no matter how hard I try to shake it off.
Player's gonna play, 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 play. Shake it off, shake it off.
Yes, one of Bach's famous pieces.
What? Bach?
Oh, nothing. Forget I said that. Mamiya and I, we were just friends. He'd been at my side for as long as I could remember. He looked out at the world with large, curious eyes, and wore a school uniform that was different from mine. I wasn't even sure if he went to school, though. Figured he had his reasons, so I chose not to pry. Just like I'm not prying about the rice cooker going off in the background. I've lost count of how many times his distant attitude and boundless self-confidence helped fill me with courage. I really can't say that we met often. I ran into him now and then, and we discussed current affairs, but for some reason, he still felt like a close friend I've known all my life. None of our Mamiyas really match up, huh?
There's something I want to ask you. Do you know anyone else who knew Mamiya? The question, asked in a very serious tone, made everyone else freeze up. I went and asked around about a woman called Mamiya, but there wasn't a single person who told me they knew her.
Same for me, but how is that even possible? He was teaching at my school. What was I doing in that classroom?
Okay.
I mean, he was a teacher at my school, and many students took his classes. Why did everyone forget him?
What is Mamiya, anyway?
All four of them had something to tell the others. However, if they actually said it, it would have been akin to denying their precious memories and their own Mamiyas. No one said anything after that. Blackout. The story briefly stopped. I closed the book with a sigh. I'm finding more questions than answers.
Oh, I already forgot what voice I get. And, that's why he came to me, eh?
I think it was something like that, yeah. Yes, I figured I should get the opinion of a senior in the field.
Oh, I remember what I was doing with you now. A senior. Me.
Yes, did I upset you?
Well, now you mention it, you are kind of junior to everyone in this world, ain't you? I don't mind helping you. I mean, there are worse ways to kill time. Careful you don't get found out, though.
I'm aware of the risks. Anyway, I've learned some new things, but all they did was make me even more confused. Like my friends, each of those people at the cafe were close to their own MAMIYAs, and they were all torn up over MAMIYA's death.
Interesting that he is now using the all caps MAMIYA, when that's not the one that was being spoken of. I'm still not sure what the distinction is at this point, other than written with the different script in Japanese. But I don't know what the distinction is meant to be.
Mm-hmm. They had their lives tampered with by MAMIYA and were freed by MAMIYA's death. And that's what I thought at first.
But it don't really seem that way now, does it? Do it.
No, I then considered another possibility, that even in death, MAMIYA might still be tormenting those four. MAMIYA might have died and become a ghost that still messes with their lives. I use ghost as a metaphor, but knowing that MAMIYA has no form, it doesn't sound particularly far-fetched.
Let me ask you a question. Ain't you get tired constantly gripping your hand in a fist like that?
That's why I have this glove on, otherwise the nails would dig into the palm. I've really got this planned.
Zoom out and he's got like one of those grip trainers.
Oh my god, he's just got one of those squeezy stress balls at all times.
He's buys them in bulk because he goes through them so quick.
Gotta fucking Photoshop that one.
If they weren't freed from MAMIYA, but were unable to let go and became trapped, they might be caught up in MAMIYA's tragedy just like my friends were. If I can save as many people from MAMIYA's influence as I can, I'll do it. But I first need to know what MAMIYA really is. I bit my lip, bearing the chagrin. I thought I had come upon a new lead, but instead found even more of MAMIYA's victims. If left alone, he would bring misfortune upon people other than my friends.
Were they victims? It seems like their MAMIYA died and didn't wind up killing them?
Seemingly.
So I don't know that's necessarily the same.
Suddenly, I heard the sound of fingers snapping from behind the door.
Relax, newbie.
Huh?
Ain't you told a spectator's job is to observe? It's kind of like star reading. If you take your time and observe, you'll be able to predict if the next trajectory is worthy of being the historical truth that all mankind follows. Start by unraveling the causes one by one. That's the first step of a spectator. Makes you sound like a potato, doesn't it? A spectator.
Unravel each and every cause.
You're a tuber now. Well, it ain't uncommon for a few new characters to show up now, is it? What's important is to find the common link that connects them to the stories you already observed.
So it's like in a book that leaves so much up to interpretation that completely different characters and scenes could be involved in similar situations and thus get mixed up?
Exactly.
The people at the cafe and my friends, the one thing they had in common was MAMIYA. So their involvement with MAMIYA was enough to insert them into the historical truth as a what-if? That confirms my suspicions. Those four are also in MAMIYA's clutches. I didn't know who they were. Unlike Kikuchi Ryo and the others, they weren't my friends in real life. What I did know is that they, too, had fallen prey to MAMIYA. I can't just watch and let even more people suffer these tragedies. I clenched my fist. My body trembled with anger. I appreciate your help.
So, what you gonna do?
Their story might contain the hints I need to find out what MAMIYA truly is. I'll spectate some more.
Ain't that so? Well, best of luck to you then.
Thanks.
You sure are short next to that ladder.
No, the ladder is just very poorly proportioned.
Oh, I see.
The books are huge as well.
I'm normal size. Everything else around me is huge.
All right. I walked over to the book and took a few moments to gather myself. I would shy away from no amount of detours if it meant I could save my friends. I'll find out what MAMIYA is if it's the last thing I do. I focused my consciousness. It was something I had to do in order to sink deeper into the story. Leaning forward, I read the first line like I always had. Tokyo, during the year in which the world was prophesied to end. I took a deep breath and gathered my resolve.
Then, let me teach you how to interfere.
As my senses began to fade, I recalled what the man behind that cold door had told me. I wasn't deep enough yet. I had to go further down.
Now's your chance. Bite into your tongue.
I poured all the strength I could into my jaw.
Ooh. Why? Oh, I see. If you pass out while spectating, your consciousness loses its place and continues to descend until your soul enters some random schmuck in the masses, and you get yourself a body to inhabit in that world.
I didn't know if there was any truth to his words. Perhaps he simply wanted to deceive me and make me suffer a fate worse than death. Even so, if there was even a sliver of a chance that I could save my friends, I would do it, no matter the pain. Natsume died.
Chapter 2. The Chaptening.
It's interesting that Samejima was the one character that we had previously seen.
Yeah, and I'm like, which makes me think that it makes me feel like there's some more. It made me feel at first like there's some more intentionality to the 4 characters who were in the second, in the group that we saw at the beginning, right?
Yep.
But they were all connected by something already, which is Natsume. But I'm wondering if, like, maybe Samejima had a reason to kind of poke and prod our little brunette in a certain direction to try and get a certain reaction. Maybe something about his history with MAMIYA colored how he interacted with him then.
Maybe.
I don't quite know yet. It's weird to me that their MAMIYA died, because it makes it seem like a fundamentally different relationship with that entity. Even if the entity also seems to take on the appearance of someone that they most need in their life, or most desire in their life. Anyway.
Huh? I'm back at my funeral again. What happened to the people from the cafe? As one question after another raced through my mind.
Wait. If MAMIYA died, what if MAMIYA also became a spectator? And then the version of MAMIYA we see in those different things is MAMIYA trying to interfere with those lives for some reason.
Maybe.
Because somehow affecting those lives saves the people that MAMIYA cared about? What if it's recursive? What if they're both just trying to save the people that cared about them, and the only way to do it is to piss off the other one?
As one question after another raced through my mind. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait.
Huh? What?
Without even thinking, I grabbed the hand peeking out of his blazer.
What do you want? Do keep in mind that it is forbidden to interfere with a story.
Sorry, it's nothing.
Right. If you want a fist fight, just can you give me 20? All right, I'll kick your ass in a little bit. Just give me a moment, okay? I can't go in there with blood on my blazer, you understand.
He simply walked past me without saying so much as a word. After that, my funeral progressed just as it had the last few times I'd seen it. No matter how many times I went through this, imagining their pain as they approached the casket always hurt me. Natsume. How do they see me?
Wait, you're doing this in front of the librarian? Or is this flashing back to earlier when he asked about this?
Presumably a flashback.
Under normal circumstances, spectators do not retain any of their past memories. Due to this, it is especially complicated for someone like you, who retains memories of a past life while being assigned to a story related to them. When you begin spectating, you descend into the present of the story and take over the position of a nameless character. Don't worry about the implication that people in real life are actually so important as to be NPCs. Literal background characters in someone else's story. That's just how it works.
Take over? But then what happens to the life of that person?
Whatever do you mean? A single member of the nameless masses hardly has a life worth a story. I wouldn't concern myself with it. Focus instead on spectating. And the body he's taking over is MAMIYA's.
As a result of that, I would be perceived differently than the Natsume Souichirou being mourned right now. That was how it was supposed to be. It felt strange that my mourning friends didn't call out to me as Natsume. As the funeral came to an end, people began to file out of the church. If I didn't do anything here, the story wouldn't change one bit. In each of their perspectives, MAMIYA would trifle with their lives, resulting in their eventual deaths.
What if MAMIYA truffled with their lives? Instead of trifling. Truffled. Just brought chocolate. Interfere with the story.
I'll make all of them happy.
Natsume.
Excuse me, are you Kikuchi Ryo?
Oh, right, fist fight guy. Hold on.
I have something to tell you.
Oh, what?
It's about Natsume.
Oh. He's over there, but... what?
I'm just happy to be invited.
What's this about Natsume? I came because he said it concerned me.
Oh, what?
You too. I thought it was just about me.
Wow, we got all four of us on the screen at once.
Thank you very much for coming.
What a pain. I'm out of here.
Oh, wait. I thought it was just about me and Natsume. Why are the others here? Is this a new kind of prank? I gotta say, using a dead person for something like this is in really bad taste. No, I have a message from Natsume.
What? Pardon me?
And it's related to us? That's so dope.
Absolute normal reaction from Kato.
I've never talked to a dead guy before.
I don't know how to unpack that with you, man. I don't.
Yes. Look at this. I pulled out a single sheet of paper from my chest pocket.
Look, it's Natsume's handwriting.
I got it from him while he was still alive.
While he was alive?
Yes. Actually, I had written it up during this very funeral.
Thank God his hand doesn't change.
I may not have looked like Natsume Souichirou, but I still had his handwriting.
Again, I just gotta... Someone make a compilation of every time if I just let the story advance one sentence.
The four gathered around the piece of paper on the bench, looking like scientists faced with a tough equation.
Why would he? It's like he knew he was going to die.
How did he die anyway? It never occurred to me to stop and think about how Natsume died and why. Huh. Probably not important. By which I mean it's probably important, but whatever.
Bishonen sparkle inhalation.
There you go. Too many bishies. Is this his will?
An informal one, at least.
An informal will. But will is already informal for William. All you'd be left with is like Wi. That's hardly a name.
Are you done, kid? Are you fucking finished? Some people write them down in case they die.
That's right. Normally this kind of note would include the person's hopes and requests, like whether to keep them on life support, what to do with their wealth, things like that. But written here... Kikuchi-ryo, Tojo Minato, Morichika Haruki,
That's my name.
Suo Kato. The names of the four of you gathered here.
What did Natsume want of us? I don't like the smell of this. Smells like lavender. I fucking hate lavender.
This is what's written on the paper. During the month before my burial, please gather every Friday and decide what to bury alongside my casket. That is what he wants.
Huh. A way to force them to be a support group for each other whether they want to or not, huh?
Yep.
That way if one of them... Because two of them are clearly not enough to keep each other on the rails.
Yep.
Of the four of us, you mean? Yes.
Even though most of us don't know each other?
Yes.
What the hell is he thinking? I'm not going to spend my time hanging out with 3 high schoolers. He wants us to choose what to bury with him? Is that really Natsume's wish?
It is, yes. He entrusted this to me.
Yeah, but who the fuck are you?
Unlike a standard will, this doesn't hold any legal power.
No, really, who the fuck are you?
Just some guy. So, I'm
Take your time.
not Sume. But like not, because I'm definitely not him.
Wow, took you a while to get there, huh?
So ultimately the choice is yours. But Natsume wants you to properly process his death. That's what I think anyway. The contents of the note made me seem so stubborn and narcissistic that even I wondered why I'd written it. Strangely enough, though, it really did seem like Natsume had jotted all this down while he was alive and then entrusted it to me. Since I had no memories of how Natsume died, I couldn't help but feel that way.
Well, count me out.
But
This funeral's enough of a goodbye. I don't have what it takes to drag his death out around for a whole month. I got lives to live.
Rio, I understand.
I want to do this.
Yeah, you would. I don't know you, but yeah, you would.
Huh?
We would meet up, talk about Natsume, and decide what to bury with him.
And I'd get to be important and special and stuff would happen to me.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. This is kind of embarrassing, but it still hasn't really sunk in for me that he's gone. Even after all this, I would probably just go, oh, he's gone, and then completely forget about him within a few days.
What? Dude, what the fuck?
I know, right? What's wrong with me? And then I'd be back to just having fun chats with my classmates.
Well, wait, that's totally normal, though. What's the big fucking deal? I always forget about people 3 days after I lose contact with them. It's how you're supposed to treat the dead, right?
You don't have to say it like that, though.
Yes, it is normal. But that's why I don't want it to end like this, like it's nothing. I want to properly say goodbye to him.
I want to do it as well.
Minato.
He's right. I still haven't properly processed Natsume's death. When he died, I wished I had been kinder to him. I regretted not talking to him more. And that's the kind of regret that stays with you your whole life. So, at the very least, I want to sort out all my feelings and do it the right way.
Do you think Natsume knew Mina? I'm just thinking about that.
I don't know.
Maybe that's one of the reasons he was such an important friend. Because, I mean, I knew when I was exploring gendery stuff, having a friend you could safely explore that stuff around is incredibly important. Ugh. Do I get to bring the booze? God, I can't fucking stand gloomy shit like this. Death should be the end for people, damn it. Motherfucker didn't even keep in touch. So why the hell would he choose me? Ugh. Fine, whatever. I guess it's only for a month.
Does that mean you'll...
Yeah, but we're strangers once it's over.
Kikuchi Rio, was it?
Yeah,
I won't force you to do this.
you couldn't if you wanted to.
I don't know. I think maybe I could.
It depends. Maybe if I had like a debilitating injury and completely forgot everything about who I was,
Yeah.
maybe you'd have a shot.
But I would like to know what Natsume spoke to you about.
Why should I? What? You are insisting a lot of like casual closeness on me, and I'm working very hard to give off the energy that I am not accepting that right now.
Next, you're going to tell me you don't want to immediately move into my house the first day you meet me.
What? The fuck? Next, you're gonna start treating me like your dog or something and walk me around on a leash.
No.
Keep me in the basement when I get back. Ugh!
Is that bad?
Oh my god. I won't be of much help, though.
That's not a problem.
Got my own shit to deal with.
Okay, then I'd like you all to meet up in this church again next Friday.
Hold on. What's your name?
My name? Oh yeah, it's kind of creepy how you know all our names, but we don't know yours. You didn't tell us how you knew Natsume either. What name was I supposed to use here? Seeing me act so perplexed, they all gave me justifiably suspicious looks. Come on, hurry and think of a name. My name is Natsume. Oh, I went and said it.
This music's setting in right here.
I can't hear it, which makes me so angry.
So it's a high energy, like funky, danceable track.
I see.
It feels wildly inappropriate for the tenor of the funeral. It's great.
What the fuck?
Are you related to Natsume?
Because Natsume... Wait, is Natsume the family name? Natsume Souichirou?
Perhaps.
I don't think so. I didn't see this guy among the relatives during the funeral.
Wow,
You-
this track is great. It sounds like Persona music.
Their distrustful looks only made me even more uncomfortable. I couldn't think of anything else.
Natsume, so important to all of their lives that they mythologize his importance to them. Also can't think of a fucking name other than his own.
Should I have just blurted out a random name? Well, obviously, anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together would have done that. But after seeing them die one by one, getting to finally meet them face to face made me act greedy. If at all possible, I wanted them to call me Natsume again. And this was what it led me to.
I like how when we're seeing more things from Natsume's perspective, he's really not this, like, perfect friend that they kind of built him up to be in their memories. He's just a guy.
But also, did they build him up to be a perfect friend in their memories?
I don't know that they built him up to be a perfect friend, but they created this the way that they mourned his passing and the way that they dealt on their lives made it feel like he had so much more of an impact than him just being like. It gave you an image of someone that was maybe a bit more put together than this guy who was like working very hard not to trip over his own feet.
I don't know. I felt like it was really interesting how much that it wasn't like a best friend who made a serious impact in their lives that died.
That's
like
fair.
Haruki hadn't even been in touch with him in quite some time, and Minato had like, oh yeah, he was a guy who was there and was helpful and nice and so on, but also like I didn't talk to him that much, and I wish I had, but I really didn't. And felt the same with the others, that Natsume didn't feel like that close of a friend.
Yeah,
to them.
That I think maybe I was overstating it then. I think you're right.
I might be understating it as well.
No, you're right to push back. Think you're too good to give us your real name, huh? Talk about being arrogant.
Are you messing with us? I can't say I appreciate being the butt of a joke.
Fist fight is still on the table, by the way. If you keep this up, you won't have an option. Is that your actual name?
I didn't expect to be in such a deep net. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Natsume isn't that rare of a name after all.
Is that so?
Yes. I'm really sorry. I hesitated to reveal my name because I knew it would only end up confusing you, but I can also understand why it would make you mistrust me. That is the only reason. The bottom line is that I'm not his relative, but my name is also Natsume. You could have just said that from the start. Thank you, Suo Keito.
So, how do you know Natsume? Do y'all like meet up once a month or something, the Natsume Club?
We happened to run into each other in town.
Really? It gives you a note that important.
Haruki Morichika's gaze pierced through me.
I think they're doing it given name, family name in the narration, but in the text box, they're doing it family name, given name.
Yeah.
And that I keep on
getting them
backwards that way. But yeah, so I think that does make Natsume the family name, which does make sense. So Souichirou would be his given name, which makes sense because Souichirou sounds like a given name.
It does. Isn't there a Souichirou in Fate?
There's, isn't there like Sasaki Sojiro?
No, yeah, maybe that's it. I'm thinking.
But wait, is there some? Is the teacher Mr. Souichirou?
Yeah, I thought that was his name.
Maybe it is.
Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to Natsume fumbling through.
I had to make this seem feasible, otherwise they'd never agree to meet up again. To be able to reasonably keep in touch with them, I had to make sure they still trusted me. I needed to think of a good explanation.
Oh, his personality seems like a good call here.
Yeah.
Because Natsume did kind of feel a bit, maybe not flighty, but given to whimsy, maybe?
Perhaps. The other I think is funny, though. Please remember his looks. That guy was hot, right? Remember how hot that guy was?
Remember
who isn't
how
me?
hot he was?
I'm definitely not him, but he was quite attractive.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Please remember Natsume's personality.
His personality?
Yes, he was like the air, wasn't he? Hard to fully grasp. I really did meet him by chance when I asked him for directions in town. When I told him my name, he said, "What a coincidence, it's the same as mine," and we hit it off.
So he's aware he's a bit of a...
Oh, yeah, I guess I can see Natsume being fond of people sharing his name.
I agree. That honestly makes more sense than I care to admit.
Really? I imagine that I was entrusted with this note and role because I had the same name as him. I think having a stranger with the same name convey his words was his...
A stranger with the same name, huh? I'm just saying we've had 2 different characters both with the same name already.
Wait, what?
We've had 2 different MAMIYAs.
True.
His... what?
Oh,
His-
no, that was your line.
His what?
His sense of humor at work, probably.
Ain't funny, though. Never has been. Well, screw it. Friday, right? Just gotta come here.
Yes, please do.
And, I'll bring the booze. They let you drink in church, right? As long as it's wine. Anyone know if they'll let me sleep in the pew when we're done?
Left alone in the church, I sighed. The lively atmosphere from before had been replaced by an almost oppressive silence. The friends I thought I'd never meet again, and Natsume. The 5 had now agreed to meet each other over the next month. I could have never reached this point by remaining a mere observer. I need to carefully make sure it all goes well. I could have never achieved this by just spectating. It was a result of my ego, a clear consequence of my interference. I changed the story. My words reached no one.
Except the blue Windows "Do you want to install this program" screen.
However, saying them out loud filled me with a clear, conscious realization of what I'd just done. I felt the fact that I had interfered with the laws of this world, as well as guilt for having broken the rules. It was like a shackle weighing me down. Even so, I will save them.
I wonder if that'll go so well.
The voice coming from behind jolted me to alertness.
Maybe I should start preparing your friends' funerals for you, for when you fail.
It was a voice I could never forget.
I'm doing too many low voices today.
A voice I'd cursed even in my dreams.
Hey, it's me, the other character with heterochromia. What's up? What do you say, Natsume?
MAMIYA. How dare you show yourself, you vile being?
I'm glad your penchant for the dramatic is alive and well, Spectator.
How do you know that title?
How indeed? Care to wager a guess?
Did you fucking call it?
The wave of his hands made it obvious that he had no intention of giving me a proper answer. I had a million questions to ask him. Why was he killing them? What was this so-called trichiliocosm that supposedly awaited them beyond death? And most importantly, what even was MAMIYA? Swallowing my numerous questions, I simply glared at him. I don't care what goes on in your head, but that changes the moment you start putting their very lives on the scale. I won't allow you to drive those innocent people to their deaths. In response, he grinned, his face full of joy.
Driving them to their deaths, you say? A thought born from a mind controlled by science.
What?
Let me ask you this, then. Why do you people fear death?
He merely squinted, but that alone changed the very air in the church. It felt as though he was trying to assert dominance over this entire place, and he wanted me to know too.
No one really knows death. Tell me, did any human in this world ever experience true death? Humans don't even understand whether it's good or not. Well, notably, if you believe his fan club, there was at least one guy who supposedly did for a handful of days at least. They're simply controlled by this preconception that it's something to be shirked.
No, people fear death precisely because they don't understand it. In the world we live in, a single death means the end of it all. Once dead, you can no longer meet any of your friends or family. You can't change that fact.
So you're saying it's all good as long as people get to live for a minute or a second longer?
That's not what I...
No, that's exactly what you meant. Death scares you only because you're dependent on your body and your honor. What a simple, materialistic line of thinking. Devoid of wisdom and reason.
I'm only talking about good lives. It wasn't just their deaths I found issue with, but their way of life, too. Admit it, it's because of you MAMIYAs that they all ended up miserable.
Huh? Are you really sure about that? From a different angle, you could say MAMIYA saved them. Can't you perceive it that way? Saved them from having to be in this world and let them go back to the place they were in, born before they came here. The Trichiliocosm.
But did you hear that interesting thing about the Trichiliocosm a couple lines back?
What specifically?
Natsume wants to know what the Trichiliocosm is, which implies that that's not the same thing as the library. Or at least, if it is the same thing as the library, that Natsume doesn't know that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the library is not how it's supposed to be.
I don't know.
And the library is something kind of impinged on top of it. Oh, that's a thought for another time.
What?
Humans don't know death. It's only their fear of the unknown that drove them to view it as something evil. And so, by granting them an unknown death, MAMIYA saved them. Because you see, salvation at the hands of death was their truest, most earnest desire. How did you feel about their predicaments anyway? Do you think they would have eventually found happiness if they continued to live, bound in their personal cages of isolation?
I mean, at least one of them had a problem that can generally be solved by a small blue pill a day, so it does seem pretty plausible.
Well, I mean, we don't want to proscribe that to Minato. It might just be Minato wants a way to cross dress and express a more feminine part of his personality, but still feels comfortable being a guy.
True.
Yes.
Huh.
As long as you're alive, you're able to start over. The possibilities are endless.
My, what an awfully cruel thing to say.
The temperature around us decreased.
You witnessed so much pain. Yet you would continue to tell them to endure the torture that is their lives. You would continue to tell them to dream of a better future. Am I getting that right?
No. Try as you might, your snake tongue will not lead me astray. The greatest error in the good lives they had is the appearance of the illusion calling itself MAMIYA.
Oh.
Everything you've said is subjective. A self-centered evaluation rooted in arrogant sophistry, nothing more.
I was going to say, I don't really find MAMIYA's argument that persuasive here as someone who has very much grappled with the idea of how do you find a reason to live when it seems like there is nothing waiting for you. So I don't find his view here to be particularly compelling.
They were similar. MAMIYA worming its way into their lives made them lose sight of objectivity, and it's why they ended up consumed by a subjective illusion.
I don't know if I go over that either. What on earth? You forget. They are very much at fault, too. They sought us out. We merely answered their call.
Us? We?
Yeah, that's a new thing. That's new.
You're wrong. That was because MAMIYA, because you, made sure to close off their means of escape. But this time, I'm putting an end to your schemes.
Will you now?
I'll lead them down the path to salvation, even if MAMIYA appears.
Natsume Souichirou.
A stellar body coupled with a wonderful soul.
He held his hand out, looked at me like a thing of beauty, then swung it down.
I'm almost jealous.
His eyes burned with sarcasm, but when I returned his gaze with a scowl, he quickly changed his expression.
But you still don't understand a thing.
His implicative words made me scowl even harder. What do you mean? The man simply laughed at me before turning around and walking toward the door.
Let that question torture you, nameless spectator.
Wait, I won't let you do as you... Huh? I was back. I had just lost a chance to unravel the mystery behind MAMIYA. If that alone wasn't enough, I felt something intensely unpleasant as well. Almost like there was something in my mouth.
Did you bite off your tongue?
Glancing down, I realized that I had bled so much from my mouth that the blood began to form a puddle on the floor. I shoved my hand into my mouth and started frantically moving around what I found inside. I grabbed hold of my tongue and stabilized my breathing. Before I knew it, my tongue had completely healed. The feeling, combined with the sight of blood, made me remember. Right, I bit into my...
Oh, are you all right?
Miss Librarian, this is...
You appear to have returned while in the middle of spectating. It's hardly an uncommon occurrence, so don't let it bother you.
Huh?
Although, would you like a napkin or something?
Could I really just ignore all this blood? Huh? The fresh blood I had bled onto the floor moments earlier was nowhere to be seen.
More importantly, how did your work go? Did you see any major flows in the story? Did you see the stars begin to shift?
It's, going well. I averted my gaze and did so almost unconsciously.
Most excellent. A fatigued worker is a poor worker. I would advise you to go rest now.
Thank you, I will. I couldn't bring myself to look her directly in the eye.
They're having a Mario Kart night in the lounge.
She taught me all the basics when I was lost and confused, yet I repaid her kindness with betrayal. Even so, I want to find the path that leads to their salvation. Alone and surrounded only by books, I joined my hands together and hung my head in silence.
If you're late, I'm going to get to play as Princess Peach.
Chapter 3 and Tips 1 have been unlocked. Please proceed from the chapter select screen.
Tips.
All right. Tips! Steak tips! From the chapter select screen. Okay, so now
Let's
chapter
get some
3 is
tips.
unlocked. Let's go read the Tips 1. Let's go read Tips 1.
One thing I had learned while on the job was that spectators had access to 3 world layers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
The upper layer was the world I inhabited right now, the place where, book in hand, I flipped through the pages and read the stories set in writing. The lower layer was the world of the living, a place with fresh air, physical bodies, and everything else people needed to lead their lives. The middle layer was where we spectators would observe the living. While here, I could look down on the lower layer like an astral projection. This was also where I watched the tragic fates of my friends unfold before my eyes, and where spectators would usually stay whenever they were in the middle of reading stories. The bird's eye view offered by this layer would allow spectators to have a full grasp of the story's flow.
Even if they were all very small. I needed to bring out my opera glasses just to see what was happening.
I get that it's metaphorical bird's eye view and not a literal bird's eye view, but it's funny to think about.
Looking back at it, I was already able to interfere with the story before the start of the funeral. I even recalled briefly addressing my friends. The librarian must have known that, too. Apparently, that was only allowed so I could decide which character to focus on. I dreaded to imagine the scolding I would receive if she ever found out about the true extent of my interference.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that someone with as much seeming authority as the librarian has, that she let someone with knowledge of who they were dictate what happens in the story surrounding their friends' lives after their death, unless they're expecting them to interfere. Like, if the librarian really was all about keeping everything, like, buttoned up, keeping it smooth and not creating rows, she just assigned Natsume to something else and shuffle some people around. But she didn't. She let this happen. She's got it. I don't believe that she is actually expecting Natsume to treat this with complete dispassion.
What if she doesn't have any choice in who gets to spectate what? What if everybody spectates their own story, but nobody knows it because all the other ones don't have their memories?
That could be the case. So then it would have to be Natsume. But interesting. They'd be going back to the original position. Did we forget to bring that up? I think we did.
I don't remember. You definitely said it, but I forget if it was while we were recording or just after.
Yeah, one of our commenters mentioned that we... No, we did bring it up last time. I'm sure we did.
It would also be nice if I didn't have to bite into my tongue ever again.
Yeah, when he said bite into his tongue, that's like the most common device people will... or one of the more common devices people will use in fiction for, like, how can you kill yourself without anything else around you is bite through your tongue. So I assume that that's where that was going, but no, he just bled a lot, which also not fun.
Anyway.
Whose idea was it to put little fleshy bits near where we had the sharp bits?
Whose idea was it to put the playground next to the sewer?
I need to have a word with the zoning committee. They really fucked some shit up.
I was now interacting with the story of the 4 people I saw at the cafe. For now, I decided not to interfere and instead focus on merely observing them from the middle layer. I'll remain objective here. Telling that to myself, I strained my ears to listen to the ongoing story.
Hey! Hands off my meat!
Lol.
Lol.
Go eat the bok choy or something.
No, that's literally mine. Also, that's Toma's. Bok choy? I'll happily eat it if you don't want to. That's not what we were talking about. If you don't take your meat, it'll be gone before you know it. This fatty knows no restraint.
Wow, rude.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Come on, even this guy's eating nothing but meat and tofu. What about the veggies?
I'm against eating vegetables by principle. Oh, these king oyster mushrooms are pretty delicious. I'm against eating vegetables because they don't exist. And eating them would be acknowledging them.
How come she's the only one facing forward and everyone else is facing different varieties of to the left?
He's right, Nigaki. They're quite great. Are you even listening to me? Eat your gosh darn meat!
The 4 of them continued to argue while sitting around a simmering hot pot. A few days ago...
MAMIYA really does exist. Otherwise, how are we even supposed to deal with these feelings?
Great question, buddy.
all they could do was nod. They felt that everything would vanish if they didn't. The 4 of them had all dealt from the loneliness and isolation that came with having wildly different outlooks from their peers. For days they were alienated, misunderstood outcasts, but now they finally found others who were on the same page as them.
What would you say to sharing a room? We could spend our time discussing our memories of MAMIYA.
Things moved quickly after that. Samejima prepared the residence while Arisugawa gathered the electrical appliances. Samejima had found a large, pink house. It was far from convenient, but it allowed for distances they could all tolerate. Toma didn't have much luggage, but Niigaki brought over a number of packed cardboard boxes. By late December, the 4 were already living under the same roof.
It's like a fucking sitcom in here. If you ask me, the key to happy cohabitation lies in setting down some ground rules. I hate all of you, Which is why it's a great idea that we all moved in together like this. I say we agree on a couple, starting with the dishes. On Mondays, it's Arasugawa. Tuesdays, myself. Wednesdays, Niigaki. Thursdays, Samajima. Friday, Arasugawa. Saturdays, me again. And Sundays, Niigaki.
Objection.
Overruled. Nope, sorry, sustained. Go on.
Why do I have to clean twice a week while this guy gets away with one?
Oh my.
A week has 7 days and there's 4 of us. And Samajima's really busy, so he probably can't be here on certain days.
You're saying I look like I've got loads of free time?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, you do. You use the house more than any of us, so it's only reasonable you do the dishes, no?
Huh? You want to take this outside?
Wait, please calm down, you two.
Whoa there. Buy me dinner first.
You're the one picking a fight.
Hey, Zeus.
I'm perfectly content.
Hey, it's just dishwashing. Even you should be able to do that much, right? All right, let's make it so that Niigaki and I take turns washing the dishes every Friday. Are you all right with that, Niigaki? There's no way we could just do a 4-day rotation. We have to make it this complicated thing. Whatever. Why can't we just buy a fucking dishwasher?
Some distance away from them, Niigaki sighed, then simply left. Oh, I got a call, gotta run.
And I'll think I'll go back to practice.
I'll head out for a walk myself.
And so everyone left,
This is a really expensive thing for us to do on a whim.
leaving the duties schedule on the table all by itself. Is it just me, or are they really ill-suited to living together? I'm really struggling with the urge not to butt in. But I know I shouldn't. I've decided I wouldn't interfere with them. I need to stay on sharp lookout for hints regarding MAMIYA. They'd decided to share a house, but they were complete strangers who'd literally just met. In my opinion, it really wasn't going well for them. Even my brief observation was enough for me to pick up on their unique quirk. One was really audacious. Another would always wear the same expression, which made him really hard to read. The only girl in the group, albeit stunningly beautiful, seems to be perpetually upset with a generally low tolerance for other people. The last one had a calm personality and appeared to be the glue holding the group together.
No, don't worry. I'm used to holding everyone together. It's just what I do.
But they all seemed to live life at their own pace, which inevitably caused many clashes. This was especially true for the two adults. Arisugawa and Samijima were woefully incompatible.
Oh, Arasugawa, have you seen Samajima by any chance?
Huh? What do you even want with that impotent jerk? And don't ask me why I know he's impotent.
It doesn't have... That... Impotent has more than one meaning. It doesn't have to mean that. It could, but it doesn't have to.
He was even more upset than usual.
This is so strange.
Toma, however, didn't seem particularly bothered by the other's tone.
We have a delivery for him, so I figured I'd let him know.
Huh? And what'd he get? His monthly order of Viagra?
That is what he meant. What? I was like, oh, he's just using a term that's uncommon, but still does mean like just unable to get stuff done. But no, that's what he actually meant. The two of them are boning. Either that or they're just part of the D Club. Not gay, they're just getting used to seeing it, alright? It doesn't have to be weird. Don't make it weird.
Considering how cool it is likely something raw.
Raw? Arisugawa's eyebrow twitched. Toma went and placed the cool box in the living room.
There's probably organs inside.
Niigaki joined in on the exchange.
Come on, Niigaki, you shouldn't say that.
He does kind of creep me out, though.
Here's an idea. Let's use this as evidence to have him thrown in jail.
He's the one paying for the house.
It's a heart.
A large shadow dropped over the box. It was Samejima. His sudden appearance made Niigaki put on a feisty expression.
This is for you, Samejima. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and just tuck this in the fridge.
Wait, did you just say heart?
Yes, of artichoke.
So it really is an organ. Are you planning a transplant? Like some kind of mad scientist?
Oh, don't be silly now. I'm going to eat it.
You're gonna do what? Are you like a vampire? Ugh.
It's an animal heart. I had ordered it fresh from a butcher shop I frequent.
An animal heart?
I get... He's like a fucking Jordan Peterson only eating meat. 12 months down the road, he's in a like fucking Russian hospital or something, right? Undergoing a medically unadvisable detox of some kind.
It's a cow's heart, to be precise. If it's fresh, we can have sashimi.
In fact, why don't we just have that for tonight's dinner?
Can we? I would gladly.
Not so fast. We agreed to have a takoyaki party tonight, remember?
Oh, we did?
Oh, great. Just when I thought we were out of the woods, she goes charging back in.
What? Oh, we absolutely did. We even had the octopus. Pre-balled.
But today is the only day we can have cow heart sashimi.
Niigaki, would you mind if we postponed that takoyaki party?
Need to give the pan back tomorrow, though.
Oh, I see. Still.
And he falls silent.
It's your fault for buying something that made a mess of things.
Oh, it is?
Oh, to be young and so easily manipulated. Visibly annoyed by the pitying looks he gave them, the two students looked away.
I still don't understand what their game is here. Like, what are they... They're doing... Do they value their memory of Mamiya so much and that they're willing to put up with each other like this on the off chance that one of them happens to give something away that tells them more about the person they wanted to remember?
Maybe.
What on earth?
It's also definitely weird that two of them are adults and two of them are not. Just, normal stuff. Some high school students moving in with some adults they've met yesterday.
Yeah, I'm choosing not to think about that.
By the way,
Because, the idea of them just being able to move out tells me that their home lives are probably not great.
Just how much of the fridge are you planning to occupy? Like, seriously, a heart? Want me to shove your goddamn heart in the fridge next time?
Oh dear, I see the 99er among us sure is busy opening and closing the fridge. Compared to how much of this place you occupy, that seems like a minor problem.
Come on, Arzugawa. Will you please just give it a rest and prepare the takoyaki party already?
Samejima, I think you really should hurry up and put it in the fridge.
Ignoring the two, Arisugawa and Samejima stood up and slowly closed the distance between them, with the table at the center.
Why would they be doing this if they don't like each other? Did Mamiya somehow also convince them, spectating, get in there and convince them to do this? Then that was somehow Mamiya's will?
Maybe. That could be. I think you're getting something wrong here. Guess I might as well use this opportunity to clear things up for you.
If you're thinking of assaulting me, go right ahead. You're the one who will be arrested.
Only if you still have enough energy left in you to call your buds.
And how about you? If you're planning to call an ambulance, now is your only chance.
That's great and all, but can you all threaten each other after we've had the takoyaki party?
The heart will spoil and it won't be any good for sashimi.
Ugh, what a mess. Back off, music student. Go ahead and eat the goddamn heart if you want it so much.
Niigaki, there's a shop near my workplace that specializes in takoyaki. I can go buy you some next time, I promise.
That's not the issue here. I decided that I want takoyaki now. This has already been set, so don't you go and make a mess of it. Go on, be nice, and heat up the takoyaki pan.
And I can't just go ahead and eat the heart. I need permission first. Also,
Wait a sec, Toma. Aren't we having takoyaki? Not planning to stuff your face with a raw organ, are you? Got him. Anyone? Anyone? Oh, wow, Toma, I didn't expect you to be the one.
honestly, Niigaki, we can eat takoyaki whenever we want. But cow heart sashimi is a rare delicacy, you know.
I'm not interested in organs.
At least give it a try first.
Even Niigaki and Toma were arguing now. They slid in between Arisugawa and Samejima, making the two adults raise a curious eyebrow.
Hey, you're in the way, goddammit. Go the hell away.
What? Excuse me? This isn't your house. Why should I even listen to you?
Because I've been here the longest.
So you finally admit it.
When you really think about it, though, I was the one who found this place, so technically it is mine. Now, if you would please move aside.
If I do, then she'll start her takoyaki party.
Why won't you let me?
As their argument continued to escalate, Niigaki snapped and pointed at Arisugawa and Samejima.
Why are you two acting so big anyway? With your backs against the wall and stuff, you're being like MAMIYA.
Oh my.
The heated air cooled off in an instant.
Yeah. MAMIYA did that all the time.
MAMIYA really did like standing next to walls. Not an embellishment. If you're listening to this and thinking, oh, maybe SK just happened to ad-lib a really silly line here, no. MAMIYA liked standing next to walls.
Canonical personality trait.
She'd wear that usual grin of hers and keep observing me with her hands joined behind her back.
It was like he carefully weighed each of his words before uttering them.
Because he'd always stand next to the wall, I often had to turn my back to large open spaces, which made me feel sort of helpless in a way.
Is no one going to talk about how she was hot for teacher?
MAMIYA stands next to the wall.
Yeah, she really did that. Oh man, it sure makes me happy to talk about MAMIYA.
Even though we're all having 4 different conversations. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Still standing, the four exchanged a hearty laugh. The argument, the raw heart, the takoyaki, they all seemed so pointless now. In the end, they decided to cook the heart like they would have cooked takoyaki. They were just happy to share their memories of MAMIYA with someone. The 4 of them could barely get along, but reminiscing about MAMIYA managed to bring a smile to their faces. The profound peace that these stories had given them made me painfully aware of just how much joy MAMIYA had brought into their lives. MAMIYA is supposed to be this cruel, merciless reaper of lives, but to them, MAMIYA is almost like a deeply cherished entity. How is that possible?
It's like people contain multitudes.
And how is MAMIYA reflected in their eyes?
So that
really helped
interesting.
clarify things. Yeah, I feel like that tip really helped. Certainly got some more tips. I feel like I didn't learn jack shit from that. What the fuck, man? What the hell? What is this weird Big Brother thing going on? I feel like they're on the set of a reality show. Right? Big Brother the reality show, not Big Brother the 1984. God. Like, what? I guess maybe to them, those moments where they get to remember MAMIYA are worth everything else.
Maybe so.
That's so fucking weird, though. God.
Do you think that person that we see on the left of the chapter 5 image is Arisugawa's MAMIYA?
Left of chapter 5 image.
Because it looks like a woman who is an adult and is smoking a cigarette.
Oh yeah,
Kind of.
that looks like their the lineup of their MAMIYAs.
Which is what Arisugawa described.
Mm-hmm. And then over on chapter 9, we can see Natsume burning the whole thing down. Like, fuck it. Oh, this looks like it'll be fun. I have no idea where we're going from here, but it looks like we're getting at least one more go round of our favorite cast here. I don't know if Tips 2 just unlocked.
Yeah, we should do Tips 2.
So I think what we'll do is right now?
No.
I was going to say that for next time.
No, next time.
Yeah, next time I think we'll start with Tips 2 and then we'll see what else happens. We'll just kind of go with stuff unlocks, I suppose. I hope you're all having a good time with this. I am thoroughly perplexed, but but in a way that makes me want to read more. So, anything profound to share at the end?
Nope.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.